Alright, so today we're going to talk about different lumber terminology that you would use when you're picking out wood for a project. So if you're going to a big box store like Lowe's, Home Depot, Menards, or whatever big box stores in your area, wood is going to be sold in construction lumber terms. So you're going to be looking for things that are like a 2x4 or a 1x4 or 2x6, whatever that might be. So this is a 2x4, and just like I showed, I will be showing you how you would want to pick out a straight board, what you need to be looking for. So this is a 2x4. What does that mean? The thickness is 2 inches, but really it's 1 3/4 inches. The width is 4 inches, but really it is 3 3/4 inches. And then you would have the length in feet of how many ever feet that you need. Now, if you're going to a true lumber yard to pick out more of a hardwood type selection, then you're going to have to use different terminology. They're going to sell boards in 4/4 thickness or 8/4 thickness. And what that means, if it's 4/4 thickness, it's going to be 1 inch thick. And if it, which is what this board is, this is red cedar, it is 1 inch thick, or 8/4, which is 2 inches thick. And in both of those cases, they're pretty much dead on to 1 inch or 2 inches. They might be like 1/8 of an inch less, but it's not going to be anywhere like the construction lumber that is going to be 1/4 of an inch less. All right. The other thing, if you are going to a lumber yard, and the vocabulary that you will need to know is board feet, and I will walk you through that in just a minute on how to calculate board feet. But they will also want to know, do you want S1, S2, S3, or S4? S1 is going to be your cheapest option, and S4 is going to be your most expensive. So I'm going to walk you through that. Basically, there's 4 sides to a board, right? You've got an edge, a face, another edge, and another face. So 4 sides. So S1 means that one edge has been run over the jointer and is flat, and you could take then to a table saw and get the other edge to be parallel to this one. S2 means that one edge and one surface has been run through a jointer, and they are going to be square to each other. If you have access to a table saw and a planer, that's probably the best option of wood that you want to purchase, because it's going to be your least expensive option versus like an S4. S3 means that 3 of the sides have been run through a jointer, and so you would only have to run one more side through a planer or jointer or table saw. And then S4 means that all 4 sides are flat and square to each other, and it's going to obviously be the most expensive because the place that you bought it from has done all that work, put all that labor in to make it all square. But if you do not have the tools available, like a table saw, like a miter saw, a circular saw, planer, or jointer, and basically you just want to buy the piece of wood ready to go, except for the being cut to length, then S4 is the option that you want to go with. All right, now let's talk about how to calculate board feet. All right, so when calculating board feet, what are we talking about? A board foot is something that is 12 inches wide by 12 inches long by just 1 inch high. That is what a board foot is equal to. So when you are calculating how many board feet you need, you will want to know how wide of a piece you need, how long of a piece you need, and how thick of a piece you need. You will multiply all of those inches together and then divide by 144, and that will get you your total board feet. So, for example, this piece of wood is close enough to 4 inches thick, or 4 inches wide, that we will call it 4 inches wide. We know that it is 1 inch thick, because it's a piece of 4/4, and it is 90 inches long. So to figure out how many board feet this is, you would go 90 times 4 times 1, which is going to be 360 cubic inches divided by 144 cubic inches, and that will get you the number of board feet, which is going to be roughly 2.5 board feet. 360 divided by 144. All right, so that's how you calculate board feet. All right, when you are picking out a 2x4 from a stack or any kind of lumber from a stack at a big box store, it is important to check for straightness, because if it's not straight, you're gonna have a hard time. So what does that mean? That means looking down the length of the board, see if it curves at all in both directions. If it doesn't, that is a good piece. Generally though, to get to these good pieces, you are going to have to dig through the stack. Do not take just off the top. Most of the time those are not the straightest boards. Alright, so just like with construction lumber, when you are picking out hardwood from a stack at a lumber yard, you will want to check for straightness. So you can see that down there is a curve, right? So this piece of wood you would probably put back in the stack. You don't want to use it unless you have access to the tools to make it straight. And then you're going to also look down and see if there's any curvature here. Now, if you find a board that's this long, which is about 8 to 10 feet long, and there's a curve, but it doesn't happen until the very end of the board, you might still have use for the rest of the board. But you still want to search through the whole stack of wood. And again, just like with construction lumber, most of the time the straightest pieces are going to be towards the bottom of the